doing? It is Pastor T. Hope you guys are doing good today. We had some technical difficulties going on, but I am excited to see you guys today. Come on in. Come on in. Cannot see um I cannot see everyone here. So if you are here, just say hi. Let me know that you're on. So I just want to tell you today, you may not be God's selection, people's selection, but you are definitely God's. And a lot of times when we go through things and we're trying to figure life out and we're trying to understand what's happening, y'all know, those of you guys who know me, my name is Pastor T, and y'all, I've been really going through some things, in my body, trying to figure out. And therapy has taught me a lot of different things. A lot of different things. I'm overcoming muscle issues, and that was hard. Good morning, Christina. Good morning. That was hard is no longer hard anymore. See, when I first started it, I thought that I couldn't do it. And when I went in, I said, I really want to do therapy. I really want. And they said, we can't. We can only give you a certain amount to be able to go on. We can only give you this amount to get there, and all of that stuff. And when I got there, it was like there was this exercise that was the sit stand exercise. And when I started doing it, y'all, it was so hard that I didn't think that I would be able to do it. I mean, it brought me to tears the first time I did it. And so I want to tell you this morning that you may think that you don't deserve to be in the room. You may think that you're going through and situations are too hard for you and all of those things. But I came this morning to remind you that God is going to show up. Remember why you're in the race to begin with. See, I had to remember why I was in the room. I was there to do the things that I had been called to do, but it did not feel good. It did not feel good. I was trying to do the sit up, stand down, Christina. And when I tell you it was overwhelming, it was overwhelming. And man selection, see, they told me I only had a certain amount of time in order to recover because of the insurance and what it was and all of those things. But let me tell you something, God extended it. He extended it until next year because he said, the doctor said, well, I want to work on some more things. I want you to be able to do this. And what I want to tell you is this, is that you may only be qualified or feel like, let me just say this, feel like, because a lot of times we feel like, and I got a word from a prophet, um, a couple of days ago, and they were saying, this that you're trying to do, you're overqualified for. And I kept calling in and I'm like, did you get the part from the insurance? Those of you guys who know how you do insurance and all that stuff, they have to give you the okay to do it. And so when I got in, they finally, the lady finally called me and she said, you are into June, I will be able to go in and specialize on the particular muscles that I need work on. But that was once hard is no longer hard anymore because the sit down, stand up exercises on Friday, I was able to do them with no problems. I was able to sit, stand, do the things that I needed to do. So I get there, I have bone on bone in my knee. And so it feels like I'm breaking bones when I'm walking. But I came to encourage you today because I was able to do it on Friday and I didn't have the pain. I didn't have the pain. See, I've been going through with the they have these things called wave therapy, and they stick this thing in your knee and it's supposed to, but it doesn't on the outside, it's not looking like it's changing. On the outside, I'm not feeling like I'm getting stronger. On the outside, I can't see the manifestations of what God is doing. I came to encourage you this morning that on the outside, you've been doing the work, but it doesn't seem like it's moving. On the outside, you've been trying to put it together, but it doesn't seem like anything is all the doors that you've been trying to open and you've been trying to do on the outside. It seems like nothing is working. But I came to encourage you today and let you know that it's working. It's working even when it doesn't look like it. It's working when it doesn't feel like it. It's working when you can't see God moving. It's working when you can't understand and get it together and try to understand. On Wednesday on her God had given me a message, and the message was when you're going through the situation where the widow had built the she had built the she had built the place for the prophet to come in. The Shunammite woman built the prophet so that the prophet could come in and have some rest, right? So that he could come in and be able to. She built it on her house so that he could come in, and her promise had died, right? We know the story that after that the prophet went to his servant, and he said, what does this woman have need of? And he said she has a son. She doesn't have any kids, and she needs a son. And so he goes back to the woman. He says, this is what I'm going to grant you. I'm going to give you the son. And she was like, a son? You gonna give me a son? And she didn't believe him that he was going to do it, but he did it, right? And so after it, the promise ended up dying. And so her son end up dying. They didn't say the reason, but he ended up dying. And she went, and the first person that she saw when she went was the servant, and she said, it is well. But when she went to the prophet, she told him what had happened to the son. And what I'm saying this morning is this, is that you thought it wasn't working. You thought God wasn't moving. But I want to tell you something. He did not want to just stop at the promise, but he wanted to move into the miracle. He did not want to just stop at the promise. See, the promise would have been just to keep her son alive. The promise would have been, you have this, you built this for this prophet, and you see all these things moving, and you see all these things. What does all that have to do with therapy? I'm coming back to that, y'all. What does all that have to do with all the stuff that you've been talking about? I'm coming back to that. So when you have this situation right here, and it looks like it's dead, it looked like it's over. This morning you woke up and you seem like you went to sleep in the same situation that you woke up in, and you're trying to figure it out, and you're saying, God, haven't I served you? And God, I don't understand why you would give me this promise, and it seems like the doors are closing. See, the reason why I brought up the therapy side of it is because God promised me that I wouldn't go into the new year with all the ailments and issues that I was dealing with. He told me that I wouldn't go into it with all of those things. But let me tell you something. When I turned around, it seemed like the situation got worse. It seemed like everything that could happen started happening. It seemed like the muscles tightened up, and then they said, we're sorry, but you've used up all the time of your therapy, and you've used up all the things that the things that I thought that were put in place to help me in this season. I had used it up. They said your insurance is not going to cover it anymore, and you're not going to be able to do it. And I'm like, God, I don't understand, but you gave me this promise. And the promise was I wouldn't take all these elements that I'm dealing with, because I said, God, why is it so hard for me to get into a room? Why is it so hard? Why do I feel like I'm going through, and why am I going through all these situations and trying to understand how to get to this place? And I don't understand. Do you think that that woman that built the place, don't you think she had some questions? Don't you think she said, God, why would you give me this? And she said that. She said, why would you give me the son and then take him? This doesn't make any sense. And I came to you today to tell you that it looked like it's dead, but the prophet is on the way. It looked like it's over, but God is going to show up on your behalf. It looks like the doors are closed and it's inevitable, and you're not going to be able to move and do the things that you want to do. And it seems like you've utilized all the help that you thought that you were going to have, the help that you thought you needed to recover, the help that you thought you needed to open the door, the help that you thought that was going to move in the church that you had, and all of those things, and the help, the people that showed up and said they were going to be there for your dreams, and people that turned around and you're looking for it and you can't find it, because God said, I didn't want to just stop at the promise, but I wanted to move you into the miracle. You're in the miracle place today, not just the place where man's selection and what God is doing and man's opportunity and what they can do to help you recover. God said, in this place, I'm going to be the one to help you recover. In this place, I'm going to be the one to make you move. In this place, I'm going to be the one to give you the help that you need. See, when I came into the room, that was hard, because I kept doing the exercise. I kept doing. And God said, if you just keep showing up, I'm going to open the door for you. If you keep moving, if you keep doing. See, I put it on your mind to build something. I put it on your mind to build something. You thought that once you built it and the promise was secured, you thought that that was going to be the end of it, the end of a thing. You thought that when you got it, that you spent your resources, and you like, but I want to do something for the person of God, and that seed that you sowed there, you didn't expect the return that you're getting, but all of a sudden it seems like that your seed is being ate up. All of a sudden it seems like you're not able to move forward like you thought you were going to be able to move forward. But I want to tell you today that God is reminding, God is coming in, and God is letting us know that, listen, I know you thought that it was going to come this way. I know you thought that the people that normally open the doors for you were going to do it. I know you thought that the doors that you thought that you had opened and you secured. See, I thought it was my exercise that was causing me to recover, right? I thought it was, but it was the combination of things that God had put in place for me to be in a specific place so that I would be able to accomplish the miracle in which you're going to see. What is the miracle? The miracle is me still showing up in spite of. The miracle is me being able to do exercises that I wasn't able to do over a couple months ago. And not only that, but that I use at physical therapy translates past that place into my life, into outside of that room. See, the work that you're putting in right here, the work that you're doing, the seeds that you're sowing, the things that you're doing right now, that is translating past where you are. It's translating past the room. You thought it was about just doing the stand-up sit downs. You thought it was about just building the room for the prophet. You thought it was just about what you saw in that particular place. And God is saying, but it's not over, because I not only am I just going to fulfill the promise, but I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to produce the miracle for you. I'm going to put you in a place that you once thought was dead. I'm going to revive it. That you thought that you couldn't get access to, I'm going to give you access to in this season. Those rooms that you thought you weren't going to be a part of, I'm going to give you extra time to recover and do the things that's necessary, because I need you to work on some things, because I'm bringing you into a place where there's going to be people that are not going to be able to shut the doors that you're walking through. Because I need you to understand that even though it seemed like her son was dead and he was no longer there, right? Even though it seemed like all hope was lost and the promise was done and it was over. It wasn't over, y'all. It wasn't over. So the first thing you got to do is show up. Keep showing up. Keep putting in the work even when it don't feel right, y'all. Keep putting in the work even when you can't see on the outside what God is manifesting. Keep putting in the work. Show up. Go to the prophet. Go to the prophet. Don't stop at the servant. Tell him it is well. Can you hold on to your it is well today? Can you hold on to your promise? Can you hold on to the promise that God said, even when it seems like nothing is lining up? Even when it seems like it's not in a position or a place to where it's going to manifest, can you hold on to it? Can you hold on to it? Can I hold on to the manifestation of what God said, that I was already healed? Or am I going to stop with the what I think is the results that's just in the room? Because God is saying, listen, I'm coming for the promise, but I'm not just coming for the promise this morning. I want to produce the miracle. So the first thing, you got to show up and be in place. The second thing you got to do is you have to allow God to put you in position to bless other people. This Shunammite woman, she was put in position. She used to feed him. She used to cook. So that he would come in. She wasn't a novice at service, right? She did what she was supposed to do. She wasn't a novice at service. Are you going to show up in the room? Are you going to show up? Are you going to build what God told you to build, even when it doesn't look like it? See, one of the hardest things for me for therapy is to get to a place to where I just show up in the room. It's hard. I want to call in. I want to reschedule it. I want to tell them I'm not going to be able to do it. I want to see, sometimes what we feel, we do things contingent upon what we feel and what we think and what we have going on and what our sight can see. See, me getting in the room, in the place, because I couldn't see the manifestation. I said a few weeks ago, God, I need to see something. I need to see something. I need to see you moving. I need to see something. Not another prophet giving me another word. Not another something of something else. I need to see. I need to see tangibly the results of the labor of me coming in the room. I need to understand what's happening. So going into the position, doing the things that's necessary, going in, doing, and it's very difficult. My son will come and get me. He'll be like, Mom, let's go. And I'll be like, man, I don't feel good. I don't, you see, when you're doing the things of God, the enemy will try to make you move on what you feel. He'll try to make you keep from getting in position to be able to be used to get the strength that you need to, so that the promise can be manifested. We don't know what it took to build that house. We don't know, but I know that it took a sacrifice. Now, she was a wealthy woman, so it wasn't like, but it took a sacrifice. That's not a normal thinking. Let me just build a place for the prophet, for him to come in so that he can get there. That's not the normal thinking for that. But God had given her something to do, and she accomplished that in which God told her to do. Sometimes just being in the right place and accomplishing what you're supposed to do doesn't just stop there. God gives you the vision. He says, I want you to build. I want you to do this. God gave me the promise. He said, the promise is your healing. The promise is you're not going to take this into 2025. You're not going to take this into that place. But what ended up happening? It got worse, right? It got worse. She got the promise. She got what she needed. And now all of a sudden, this promise is dead. It's no longer, it seems like it's not viable. It seems like it's not there. It seems like the sacrifices that she made previous to that doesn't matter. You ever been in that place? Oh no, we talking about people of faith, right? You ain't never, I'm sure none of you guys have ever been in a place to where you looking for the things of God and you like, God, I did all the things that you told me to do. And I made I did everything you were telling me, and I moved and I was doing all, and it didn't seem like it was it didn't seem like it was going to work out. Cause I'm sure when God told y'all something, it just happened, right? It didn't seem like it got worse. Nothing happened, right? When God tells you to do something, it seems like sometimes the sacrifices that you made is no longer in the room. I had a conversation with Pastor Monica a couple days ago, and she called me and she said, the Lord has told me to do these things for you and to position you and put you in this place and do the things that and do some things for you. And it seemed like, but Throughout the years, our relationship had been tested, y'all. Our relationship had been tested. People told me, you can do what she does. And why would you do this? And you can preach and you can teach and you can do all of these things and you got to know what you're called to do. This woman was called to build a place for the prophet to have a place, but she was not called to be the prophet. I wasn't, listen, Pastor Monica can tell you, she's the visionary. Listen, God tell her what to do. She's the visionary. She moves in it. And whatever she say do, I'll be like, let's go. Let's do it. What is it that we need to do? Let's do it. But it felt like sometimes my sacrifices, and it wasn't her. So I'm not saying her, but it felt like my sacrifices, the labor of love throughout the years and doing things and showing up in rooms and being there and a lot of times in the room, it seemed like they were the professionals. It seemed like those people were more qualified. It seemed like they were, a lot of times when we would do tours and different things like that, I didn't even know, she can tell you, when I met her, I didn't know what it was that I was even called. I mean, I knew that I was a preacher, but I didn't know what I was called to do. I did not know the magnitude in which I was called. But there was a relationship that was built in the process of it. But there was a few times it seemed like it was dead. Now, her story would be a little different from mine, y'all. There was a few times throughout going through us, building a relationship and us doing, there was a few times it seemed like that the relationship was dead. It didn't seem like it was going to manifest anything. It didn't seem like it was going to produce anything. But I kept coming. I kept showing up. I remember getting on a plane and going to in the Empower Fest. But I did not know. And what I'm telling you was there was a promise in the room, but I did not even know what the promise was. I didn't understand the magnitude of what God had for me. I did not understand when I was building, when I was putting the place on the house for the prophet to come in and have rest. I did not know what I was sowing into. And a few times it seemed like it was dead when I started going through with the fibromyalgia and I wasn't able to travel with her anymore. A few times it just seemed like I wasn't, I was not, what is, I'm trying to say, like, it seemed like I wasn't valuable to the mission anymore because I couldn't go. She was traveling and she was doing all of these things. And I did not know. And she kept saying, Trinisha, God has told me who you are. And I'm going to open these doors for you and these things. But my body was limited, y'all. It seemed like it was dead. It seemed like it was over. The promise, the manifestation, the sacrifices, all of those things I thought that I was doing, it seemed like they were no longer viable. It seemed like God wasn't going to do what he said he was going to do. It seemed like, and I kept saying, it is well. And she kept saying, don't put purpose on pause. Trish, you can't put purpose on pause. There were times, y'all, that people were saying to me, why are you still going? And why are you still doing these things when your life is falling apart? I went through when God called me to start traveling and doing things, everything fell apart. Everything. It seemed like it was dead, y'all. And she kept saying, do not speak what you see. Speak what God said it is. And when you get to the sermon, what do you say? It is well, right? I had to hold on to my it is well past what I saw. So I want to tell you this morning, hold on to your it is well this morning. Past what you see, past what they're saying, past what it looks like, past what seems like it's dying, past all of those things. Hold on to your it is well this morning. If you could see this, type in the comments, it is well. It is well. The promise will not die. God is moving you into the manifestation of the miracle this morning. The promise, he said, I want you to move past this. I need you to understand that past this place right here, there's a miracle that God has for you. and you thought it was over, and you thought your sacrifices was in vain. But I need you to understand that I'm still yet God, and I'm still moving for you. That room that you built, that sacrifices that you made, and you going into a place that's going to produce the miracle that you need. Don't stop at the dead place. Keep pushing past it. God says, I have another place for you. I have another place for you. And that's what God gave me to tell you this morning. Hallelujah. That if you just keep showing up, I'm going to extend the time. All the resources that you need to be provided for will be provided for. Do not think that your labor of love is in vain this morning. God said he won't forget your labors of love. See, man might forget, but I won't forget. And I need you to move into a place where God can begin to move for you this morning. Don't stop at the promise. Hold on to your it is well. Don't stop at the place where you feel like you're not going to be able. And now we have this global ministry, and God is opening doors, and he's positioning me to do the things that I need to do so that I can be in the place and financial place and be in the place where I need to be so that I can do the things that I needed to do. But do you know how many times I was told I was just a preacher? I was just a preacher. But being that just the preacher, that ministry is what opened the doors for me. Being able to go in and be in situations when we traveled and did different things. She asked me, she said, do you think you can, at the time, we didn't really know. She said, I think the person that was supposed to open wasn't there. And for our first tour, that something happened, and I don't know what happened, but I ended up being the opener for that particular tour. And she didn't know what I could do. She was putting it in my hands for me to be able to do it, right? And I did what God told me to do. But me just being a preacher opened doors for me so that I can be the person that I am today. And I'm not saying that just anything to take away from what God has in store. But what I'm telling you is that me just being a preacher was like building a house, right? Me like just being the preacher was initiating the relationship. Me just being a preacher was putting me in a place of the promise. Me being a preacher was able to do. And next thing I know, I was on tour with her, and I was opening, and not only was I opening, but I was closing, and I was doing different things for her that I did not know. But I wasn't jockeying for any positions, and I never have. I've always said, what do you have need of, and what do you want me to do? What do you need me to do? See, the service that you put in is what's going to open the blessing for you. It's going to open the blessing for you. Don't stop at the promise. God has the blessing for you this morning. He got the miracle. He wants to operate in the supernatural this morning so that you can get there. And the story is that the woman's son was resurrected. Her son was resurrected, and the life that was once gone was now inside of him. But can you imagine the man? Can you imagine the testimony of the boy? Can you imagine the person that had to die for the miracle to manifest? Can you imagine being in position, just being born, and now all of a sudden, because God wanted to show his power through you. So I just want to encourage you this morning to don't stop at the promise, but move into the manifestations of God and let God do the miracle through you this morning. Hallelujah. Now that is what God gave me this morning. I hope that you have been blessed by something that I said today. I hope that I cannot see the comments. So I hope you guys were interacting and all of those things so that you can get. Hi, Siobhan. Now I can see him. I can see him kind of coming up on the side. Now, y'all know I'm kind of new to some of this stuff, but let me tell you something. God has something in store for you. Now is our time for giving. Y'all, let me tell you something. All of the giving and the seeds, I'm beginning to see them become manifestation. Y'all, I'm seeing it now. I am seeing it now. I want to encourage you today to give. I want to encourage you. The ways to give are there. You have the Cash App with PM Global One, $ PM Global One. Her Zelle is there. Lady M. Haskell at AOL.com. PayPal is there, y'all. Let me tell you, God is doing something. He is amazing. I think the young prophet is recovering today. So I stepped in for him, and Pastor Monica is traveling, doing her thing. But let me tell you something. God is good because He wants to do something. He's this morning when I woke up, He said I'm gonna do something different, but I didn't know it was gonna be dropped in different water, y'all. I didn't know it was gonna be dropped in different water. But you gotta be ready for what God has for you. Are you ready to take the place and the position that God has for you? Everybody give say seed sown in the comments. Seed sown. I'm gonna go ahead and our time is spent. I know that I was a little late today. Please forgive the tardiness. Pastor Monica will be back on, I believe, tomorrow. Y'all pray the young prophet is recovering today. And I just want to encourage you today to do all that God has for you and let Him move for you, okay? I will talk to y'all later.